PRP is a platelet-rich plasma concentrate that promotes tissue repair naturally. If you are dealing with pain or an injury, ask your doctor, a Southeast orthopedic specialist, about PRP to determine if it's right for you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast orthopedic specialists.
Hicken here with Zero Res. Let them help you get ready for the holiday. Book today and Zero Res will clean your carpets for only $49 a room. Let's give you 25% off your tile and grout cleaning. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Gator defense fell short against LSU. Head coach Billy Napier pointed out areas to assist the team's defensive performance when they face Missouri.
I think that there are fundamentals and techniques that can improve playing with good eye discipline, good leverage.
FSU, having reached 10-0, is a milestone. Head coach Mike Norvell cites as a benchmark for the Seminoles.
Being able to have our 26-10-win season, that's big for our program. This team will be remembered because of that.
In area collegiate play, JU's men's basketball plays a home game against Georgia Southern tonight. Game time 7 p.m. UNF men's basketball took the loss as they played an away game against South Carolina State. The Lady Ospreys lost at home against Florida Atlantic. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 9:59, it's 71 degrees. Time and Scent brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
They run a reverse this time. That's Deebo Samuel. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Broke a tackle, touchdown. Deebo Samuel on a reverse. And the 49ers have extended the lead at Everbank Stadium.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and
Hold my pocket!
Dylan Denmark.
All right, welcome in, everybody. A Check the Tape Tuesday here in a rainy, nasty hangover from Sunday kind of weather day here on the First Coast.
No doubt, yeah.
It's just kind of blah. That's the attitude I have today, Tony. It's a good day to get off work, to go home, maybe eat a little something, then get in bed. Just get in bed, hide under the covers, and let it all pass. And let's get Sunday here as quickly as possible. We'll bring in Jeff Lageman, who's joining us from remote location this morning in just a moment. Want to just pass on. We're well aware of the Zay Jones situation last night, arrest on misdemeanor domestic battery. We don't know much beyond that. The Jag statement, quote, "We are aware of the situation or in the midst of gathering information. We'll have no further comment at this time," end quote. That's what they had to say. Zay did appear in court this morning. I heard Jeff Prosser reporting that his understanding, and he said this is rock solid, 100% what happened. So obviously he's got a trusted source on this, that Zay has some kind of joint custody arrangement with the mother of his child who was in town to pick the child up on a custody handoff kind of situation.
Yeah, she lives in Orlando.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that they got into a verbal argument, and at some point he grabbed a piece of jewelry, a necklace, I presume, off of her neck and left a mark. And, again, not trying to minimize it, not trying to overstate it. I'm just presenting the facts as I heard Jeff report them earlier this morning. So
keep your hands off people.
Don't put your hands on people,
like
particularly
there's
ladies.
no reason to do any of that. But if you were imagining the worst, it's not that.
No.
Right? It's still the league's going to handle it. The legal system's going to handle it the way that they choose to handle it. It's not great for Zay Jones, and we'll see how all that's going to play out. And that's still while he's trying to get back from an injury on top of that. So who knows at this point when we're going to see Zay Jones play football again for the Jags?
Yeah, don't know at this point. Well, let's say hello to Jeff Lageman, see if we're all squared away and connected. No, we're not all squared away and connected.
Still efforting, yes.
Good information to have there as we begin the program this morning. So we will get Jeff up. It is Check the Tape Tuesday. Jimmy Smith will join us, I'm told, in studio. He's doing a Tom McManus's podcast this morning.
Yes,
and
he
so
is.
they're in the building at the moment. Jimmy's going to pop in. We may let Tom pop in the studio. He can sit in and listen. He's got his 2 hours coming up on Friday. But we'll visit with Jimmy, who's here, obviously, for Alumni Weekend, and can certainly speak to what he is seeing with the Jaguars' offense and the passing game in particular, Tony. And I think one of the big mysteries is Zay Jones knows Zay Jones. Why can't they get Calvin Ridley the ball on a more consistent basis? And it's become frustrating. And it's great that he's drawn penalties, and those are helpful plays. But, you know, it would help to have some 8-catch, 130-yard performances to go along with 1 or 2 pass interference penalties drawn in the same game.
Yeah, obviously these are things that we're going to get into with Logs this morning. But you saw, like, the tweet from Mina Kimes, right, who was talking about time to throw, and that Trevor Lawrence's time to throw was lower this week. And I think to some degree, Trevor Lawrence gets the ball out of his hands so quickly that the number can be deceiving when you look at it over the course of the season. Right to this point, time to throw includes when he hits that back foot and lets it go, so he gets rid of it quickly. I think we saw this week whatever hesitation San Francisco was able to create, and in large part I think that was because they were getting so much pressure, dropping 7 and 8, right? They're bringing 3 at times and getting pressure within 2.5 seconds. It was a really bad week, I think, for the offensive line, and it made Trevor Lawrence look way more tentative than I can remember him looking since, maybe a month into his rookie year, right? Like, that's what that looked like to me. It was that he would hit that foot and just hold it.
Fake.
Yeah.
Kind of.
All that kind of stuff was going on.
Hesitation, right? Either didn't trust what he saw, didn't like what he saw.
Right.
Maybe, for whatever combination of reasons.
Like, we certainly hadn't seen that yet this year.
No, it was terrible performance, but you're right. It's not one man who brought him down. As we said, everybody had a hand in this one, but there's no question that the offensive line is not playing high-level football right now.
No.
It's certainly, people point to 3rd and short, well, the fact that they'll run or they'll line up in the pistol and as evidence that they don't trust their offensive line. Well, sometimes in the NFL, you pass it on 3rd and short because you do trust it that you can pick it up on 4th and short if need be, and you try to hit a big play. In that circumstance, seems like the Jags are trying to hit little short, convert the first down plays in some of those instances.
Yeah.
But we got Logs up now via the miracle of 20th century telephone technology here in the 21st century. Logs, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, not sure exactly what happened to the grand new exciting way of Opal, but phone line is still working.
Yeah, all right. So Logs, we mentioned the Zay Jones incident. We really don't have anything to add other than what is out there right now. And I don't know if you heard us discussing. Jeff Prosser said it sounded like it was between he and the mother of his child. I don't know his family situation, how many kids he has. It's not really what I'm all that interested in, quite frankly, right? So that he apparently grabbed a piece of jewelry off of her neck and left a mark. And I'm not saying that look, it is what it is. We're just putting it out there. We're not making a value judgment on it. We'll let the legal process play out on that. So just wanted to acknowledge we're certainly aware of the situation. There's not a whole lot we can add to it until things do play out. And, sometimes the legal process goes quickly, and then the league could weigh in with their own justice, or sometimes it'll drag out and it'll get it pushed off into the offseason. So, Jeff, what we typically like to do is start in on Trevor Lawrence, and we're just talking about him. Looked kind of unsure of himself, a little bit tentative. When you went back to watch the film, what stood out to you this week?
Well, exactly that, Mike. I didn't think it was a very good performance on his part. I thought the clock was moving a little bit fast in his head. And when the clock moves fast, and what I mean by that is that a quarterback drops back, and all of a sudden if they are looking down the field and their first option is not there, then they feel like, oh, my gosh, I've got to do something quickly here, instead of kind of just being in a relaxed state and going through the progressions and then just letting your natural pocket ability, I guess, to take over and just maneuver in the pocket. And that really didn't happen for Trevor in this ball game. And that was disappointing. And I thought it happened right out of the gate. The first time in the first play of the ball game, the 49ers lined up in a 5-down look. And when they showed that 5-down look, Trevor was under pressure on that first play. But it wasn't because of the 5 defensive linemen. It was actually because of Warner, the linebacker, ended up coming in on a what I call a hug-up blitz. So Evan Ingram stayed in and blocked, and that enabled him to become the sixth guy in pressure. And then that, I think, impacted Trevor, I think, the next couple plays, because on the third down play, it was a 3rd and 5, he's got a decent pocket and the ability to throw it underneath to the tight end, Bretton Strange, and his eyes just ended up not seeing it. And that part was disappointing. So for Trevor, not his best performance.
You know, Jeff, I feel like we used to have discussions about the sacks in these games, and we would discuss whether it was on the offensive line or the quarterback, and that was a weekly conversation. I think it speaks to how good a job Trevor Lawrence has done dealing with all those things that it doesn't feel like we've had that conversation for a while. But he was sacked 5 times on Sunday. When you look back at those 5, how many of those do you put on Trevor? How many of those do you put on the offensive line?
I'd probably put a couple of them on Trevor, and then the remaining 3 on the offensive line. And when I bring up Trevor on the first play was under pressure, and then the third play he wasn't able to keep his eyes down the field to find Bretton Strange. When you have kind of a perfect storm of sorts, it's tough for a quarterback to have success. And when that perfect storm is that one, when the clock is going a little bit fast in his head, but then also when the offensive line is not playing particularly well, because the offensive line did not play well. They did not have a running game, and there was nothing to kind of ease the pressure off of Trevor if he's slightly off. And that part was disappointing. So when you have all of those things happen, you're going to get your rear end blown out. And that's exactly what happened, a 31-point game. And that doesn't happen very often. And when you look around the league this past week, after Sunday, I think the only other blowout game was in which it was a rookie quarterback who's still having his mama make his bed in the morning, with the Giants and the Cowboys. And that was a 32-point game. So it's a tough game and it's a tough situation, and unfortunately they happen. But the one thing I think that Trevor said after the game where he was spot on, and is that, look, when you lose by 3 or you lose by 31, at the end of the day, it's still the same thing. The one thing I think that happens when you have a 31-point loss, it makes you kind of start searching for answers a little bit, and it makes you get a little bit more angry to come back and rectify things. So hopefully some of that anger will be used for fuel for this football team to kind of get back on its feet and play well.
Yeah, hopefully it will. And, it does count the same in the standings. You hope what a 31-point defeat doesn't do is expose some fundamental flaws that you have that are going to be able to be exploited going forward. But time will tell on that one. As we go along today, you can get in with Jeff Lageman on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines at 641-1010. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. As we always ask you, your Chad and Sandy real estate question today, just asking you what are your Jaguars-related questions for Jeff, and you can send those along on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Hold my pocket.
And, if you want to get in on the YouTube chat, you can do that as well. So any way you want to connect with the program and pass along your comments or questions, tons of them, specific ones on the offensive line, Jeff. So we'll definitely circle back to that unit. But the defense and everything else that you saw on film on this Check the Tape Tuesday, Jeff's former teammate, Jimmy Smith, in the building, going to pop in and visit with us here coming up shortly after Alumni Weekend, and we'll get his take on the state of this Jaguars offense and where the team is headed. Overall, still 6-3, a lot better than they were at this point last year, but, that was last year. As Doug Peterson has said, this team has not accomplished or proven anything other than to put themselves in good position through 9 games so far. So, with Jeff Lageman in tow, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. This is a Check the Tape Tuesday. You know how to get on board. Bring us your Jaguars questions, comments, and concerns, and we'll break it all down for you today for the next couple of hours. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey inviting you to ride in style with a brand new set of tires from my friends at Tire Outlet. They offer the best selection, the best quality, and, of course, the best prices that you're going to find anywhere in Northeast Florida, so you can find the best tires for your vehicle. How do they give you the best prices consistently? How about 300,000-plus tires in the local inventory? At any of their 14 locations, if they don't have the ones that you're looking for immediately, they'll have them out to you in an hour or less. Tire Outlet, the brand you can trust with your vehicle's tires maintenance, and a whole lot more with expert technicians ready to do all the repairs and tune-ups to keep your vehicle performing at its best. That's Tire Outlet, where you always get wholesale prices and premium service.
Jaguars Today Tuesday on 1010XL is brought to you by Dreamfinders Homes.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
You got to feel the pain and embarrassment, and that's what it is. It's terrible.
That is tipped and interception, and that's a disaster.
But you got to flush it, too.
These are great opportunities for me to coach this football team.
There's things out there on every play that we're all doing where we can do better.
I think our players will rebound. They always have.
We're going to move on, and we're going to get ready for Tennessee. I mean, that's the biggest game of the year is our next one.
It's back at the bank for a big one against a division rival. Jaguars Titans, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
If your hair is thinning and you're looking for an easy solution that will restore your hair, check out IHRS PRP Platelet-Rich Plasma. PRP, using your own platelets and cells to restore your hair where it's thinning. Combined with their FDA-approved laser hair therapy and pharmaceutical-grade products, all three will deliver one better result. Call IHRS now for a free evaluation and to find out if their PRP 45-minute treatment will work for you. Now there is a solution for any man or woman with any degree of hair loss. And it's all in one place. Call 904-777-IHRS. IHRS has been restoring hair for over 30 years. The staff at IHRS knows what it's like to lose their hair. And that's why they're ready to help you grow your hair back.
Schedule your free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars. Looking for a slightly salty Brackish Vodka beverage? Go over to Ole Mexican Restaurant and order one today.
November is Men's Health Awareness Month, and Ackerman Urology is here for all your prostate and urological needs. Don't delay in getting screened. Call their new Beaches office on Atlantic Boulevard and see an expert today. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
No dental insurance? No problem. Introducing the Care Plus program from the dental offices of Dr. James McCall. For only $625 per year, you will receive 2 cleanings and dental exams, a full set of x-rays, plus 1 emergency dental exam and x-ray. You'll also receive a 20% discount on all other services offered. Kids 12 and under will receive the same program for only $525. Call Dr. McCall today at 620-9225.
When you're a Gator fan, you get lots of reactions during the game. I'm Hayes Carline, and you'll get my instant reaction right after the Gators play. Brought to you by 5-Star Pizza, bigger, better, faster pizza on 1010XL social channels.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Are you fed up with your old, unreliable AC system? Then you'll love Bolt City Heating and Air's Black Friday trade-in extravaganza going on all month. It's the deal of the season. They're offering a whopping $2,400 trade-in cash for your old AC system, so you can upgrade to a brand new, energy-efficient unit. That's right, $2,400 toward a comfortable, worry-free holiday season. It's the Black Friday sale that lasts all month, only at Bolt City Heating and Air and BoltCityAC.com.
Tailgaters Parking is ready for football. Tailgaters proudly offers game day parking. Arrive 4 hours before kickoff and enjoy indoor restrooms, Growler's full-service bar and grill, and easy access in and out. Visit tailgatorsparking.com.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows and $2.95.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint,
persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Christian Kirk had a solid outing Sunday in Jacksonville. The wideout recorded 104 yards on 6 receptions and was targeted 11 times in the contest. Kirk has been a piece of the Jags' attack that's torn opponents to pieces, and he shows no signs of slowing down the rest of the way. Christian Kirk is your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
These fall months are the perfect time to make sure that your roof has not been damaged after the storm season. So schedule a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 15% off your roof replacement and repairs. Plus, there's flexible financing options available. This offer expires November 30th and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday on Jaguars Today is brought to you by Mr. Sparky of the First Coast, your on-time electrician on 1010XL.
All right, check the tape Tuesday because we must. Tried to lose it, tried to burn it. Logs probably burned his retinas out a little bit watching it, but it wasn't pretty. Jaguars go down in a big way to the San Francisco 49ers. If it was a litmus test game, the Jags failed whatever test was given to them on Sunday, except for Brandon McManus. If the test was kick your one field goal attempt through the uprights, well, congratulations, Jags. All right, Logs, we got some calls on the line, so let's jump in. I know a lot of folks have a lot of very specific questions about the offensive line, so we'll try to address all of them today without being too redundant on it. But if you're ready to go, we're ready to go. By the way, are you in a duck blind or a deer stand or something right now? Like, what's the story with you? Pockets?
I'm here.
Yeah, we got you. All right, so go ahead, Jeff. We hear you now.
Sorry about that. I couldn't hear what you were saying. Little technical issue there.
All right, are you able to hear us now?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's just move along then. All right, because let's take advantage while we've got that situation. All right, let's go to the phone lines at 641-1010. A lot of folks have a lot of questions and comments about the Jags. We'll start with our good friend Terrence up in Georgia. Terrence, you're on Check the Tape Tuesday. Go ahead.
Hey, Mike D, Fat Tone and Jeff. Mike, I don't know. I got spoiled, even though Peyton was in our division. I got spoiled by watching him play quarterback, and I might be unfair, but I'm comparing Trevor to him, and that's his idol. And I think he's trying to help the offensive line out by trying to get rid of the ball too quick. But I think he's got to do more than that. He's got to get to the line and see what else he can do to help the line out as far as recognizing where to go with the ball. I think Trevor knowledge is just limited at the line of scrimmage with what he's seeing on the field. He's not – I don't know how much studying he's doing or what, but I just don't think he's grasping who's available, where to go with the ball. Because when you look at that defense, that San Francisco – I'm surprised they only lost 3 games with that defense. I mean, the way they was coming after Trevor. But I just don't think he's doing enough to help. I know he needs protection, but he's got to recognize what's going on out on that field.
All right, Terrence. Jeff, how do you respond to any of that?
Well, look, Trevor's entitled to have a bad game every once in a while, and he's been so good so far this year behind an offensive line that I think is still trying to find its way. And we've talked about that at length, about how much Trevor has been helping this offensive line, how some of the play calling has been helping the offensive line. And I thought the last couple games prior to this one against the 49ers, the offensive line had gotten better. And this was clearly a tough day for them. It was a tough day for Trevor. And when you have really nothing that's working to take the pressure off of a really good defensive line, it's going to be a long day. Those are good football players over there. I mean, I think in the starting four guys, they got about $70 million in annual output going to those guys, and they just added to it. And they definitely, I think, caught the Jaguars off guard a little bit. And I think it was almost to send a message a little bit to the Jaguars when they came out on that five-man front. And the Jaguars really had a tough time. And the offensive line as a whole had a tough time. I don't know if you would say that one guy played well in that ball game up front.
All right, so what about the criticism from Terrence and his opinion that Trevor doesn't put in the time, doesn't study, and doesn't understand what he's seeing basically when he gets up there?
Yeah, that's. I don't think there's any basis for that. And to be honest with you, I think Trevor studies incredibly hard, and that's one of the things that Doug Peterson has talked to me about numerous times about how Trevor has been great, and there's a lot of conversation, and what the conversation is because that he puts in the time. And so I don't worry about that at all. I think it's just a matter of, look, it was a bad performance. Sometimes when you have even the best week of practice, sometimes you have a performance that you sit there and you scratch your head at. And I think that this was one of those instances. And unfortunately, so far this year, if you look at the Jaguars' performance against a couple of the top teams, look, Buffalo, you played really well. But then against Kansas City and against San Francisco, you didn't play well. And if you're going to be one of those teams that's in the conversation being one of the top teams, you got to be able to play better than that. And I think there's a little bit of new territory for this football team. The bye week, you just won 5 in a row, and you had everybody talking about how you're one of the top 5 teams in the National Football League. And you get to feeling pretty good about yourself. And sometimes you maybe lose a little bit of that edge. You lose a little bit of that hunger. The 49ers were kind of on the opposite end of that spectrum. They came into the bye week or went in the bye week having lost 3 in a row. And a lot of people starting to question whether that they were just a paper doll. I mean, all of a sudden they came out and played really well. So it's a long way to go. And this football team needs to learn from that game. I can tell you that. It's not one of those games where you say, let's just burn the tape. We're not going to watch it. No, hell no. You got to watch that one. You got to sting a little bit and learn from it and get better.
So, Bucky Brooks said in the postgame, and I'm paraphrasing here, something to the effect of, there's, being loose in the pregame, and there's being a little bit too cool for school in the pregame too. And I'm guessing that he sensed some of that, like what you're talking about, like maybe they were reading their own press clippings a little bit, on a 5-game winning streak. Because how do you explain, Logs, like, Trevor Lawrence said after the game, had a great week of practice, everybody's fired up for this game, but Doug Peterson's comments clearly made it evident that he didn't think that this team was at the emotional pitch it needed to be when kickoff rolled around. How is that possible coming off the bye week with everything out there for the Jags like that?
Well, I mean, first, I think it's very difficult to gauge or to get a pulse of a team by practice during the week and then also with pregame warm-ups. It used to frustrate me sometimes. I thought we had, as a player, we had great weeks of practice and thought we were ready and thought our pregame warm-ups were awesome. And then we go out there and we just didn't play well. And I think a lot of that is created in the game itself. And the way the Jaguars started, I think just didn't give them any kind of encouragement, any kind of reward or positivity in their game at all. And because, the Jaguars were winning football games in those 5 games because they were playing really, really well and playing complimentary football. And you started this game out slow, but you started out in like the most uncomplimentary way that you possibly could. You started out with 3 and out, and you got sacked, and then all of a sudden you punt, and Logan Cook, who's averaging about 44 yards a net, one of the best averages in the league, ends up kicking a 41-yarder with no hang time, and the 49ers have an 8-yard return, and they get great field position, and all of a sudden, on defense, you go out there, and then you end up having a motion, which, look, the 49ers offense, you knew going in that they have a ton of motions, a ton of shifts, number 1 in the National Football League in shifts and motions, and you got a little bit of a motion on a play, and the defense shifts, And then all of a sudden, Travis Kelce leaks out away to the side the motion went away from. And there was nobody out there in that area covering him. And all of a sudden, now you got a big explosive play. And the 49ers end up taking it in. And, so you started the game out in the worst fashion you possibly could. And, again, you start games and you create momentum and you create energy, and you didn't create any. And when you have a good football team that's playing well and is ready to go and you haven't any energy, sometimes that's going to happen. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it was.
All right, back to the phones we go. 641-1010. Let's get Chris on the south side next up on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Good morning, Chris.
Jeff, 2 comments from him. Number one, I don't know why they don't start Tyler Shatley. All he does is win. When he starts, they win. Walker Little is a tackle. He's not a guard. And Walker played terrible Sunday. So I still just don't understand why they jack around Tyler Shatley. To me, he is a darn good guard. Secondly, I'm very disappointed with our tight end. As we know, Ingram is really a receiver. He's not a tight end. He plays the tight end position, but he's a receiver, and our other 2 tight ends are just adequate at best. I hope this year we should have drafted. We'll draft a Hawkinson or somebody like that, or a, Kelsey. There are not many Kelseys out there, but, we just need a big, brutish George Kittle's tight end who can block your pants off but also be a great receiver. And we've got a receiver playing tight end, so I just don't think we get enough real what I'd call quality blocking from the tight end position.
All right, Chris, we got you. Logs, how do you respond to those comments?
I lost them, yeah.
And we lose Jeff. All right, let's do this. Let's take a timeout and get that straightened out on the other side. Tyler Shatley, should he deserve consideration at left guard? And what to do, if anything? Do we need a more physical presence at the tight end position? If you're on the line, stay there. We'll get to your calls coming up in the next segment on a Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
1010XL Jaguars Today Tuesday is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes. Homes built to fit your lifestyle.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
Offense is the engine that drives a football team.
Are you kidding me?
The offensive player of the game puts the gas in the tank.
He's gone!
Listen for the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Mia here. Believe it or not, the holidays are coming. So why not make the trip to Grandma's house in style and comfort with a little help from my friends at Arlington Toyota. Arlington has over 575 new Toyotas available, and your new Toyota purchase comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. Arlington even has all makes and models of used inventory. I'm talking over 400 on the lot. You even get Arlington's 30-day exchange program with your pre-owned purchase. Why wait? Shop in person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
The biggest, baddest rock experience in the United States is here. Welcome to Rockville with Foo Fighters. It's times like these, Motley Crue. Slipknot. Disturbed. Down with the sickness. Jelly Roll. Limp Bizkit. Queens of the Stone Age, and Breaking Benjamin, Evanescence, Cypress Hill, Blackville Brides, A Day to Remember, Anthrax, In This Moment, Primus, Stone Temple Pilots, Tech 9, and Judas Priest, plus so many more. Welcome to Rockville. 4 days, 5 stages, and 150 bands. May 9th through the 12th at Daytona International Speedway. Passes and camping on sale now at welcometoRockville.com.
Dan Hickett here for Bowdeny & Associates. I want to remind you that now is the perfect time to schedule your eye exam. Take advantage of your existing insurance benefits before they reset in January. Join the many satisfied patients who trust Bowdeny with their vision. Schedule your eye exam now and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with clear and healthy eyes. And remember, your deductibles reset in January, so don't miss out on the benefits you've already earned. Bowdeny & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Pack Parker here, and look, football season is in full swing, and no game day setup is complete without the Sausage Dude sausage. I'm a sausage guy, and the Sausage Dude sausage is the best sausage I've ever had. Try their 4 terrific flavors, including Polish, Hungarian, beer bratwurst with jalapeno, and my personal favorite, the Italian today, by picking them up at any Publix in the Jacksonville area. Football and sausage, it's a winning combination. Go get the Sausage Dude sausage at any Publix in the Jacksonville area right now.
Grilling up lunch with Leon and the Sausage Dudes. Sausage with a purpose.
Join me, Leon Searcy, on XL Primetime, weekdays for Lunch with Leon.
On 1010XL.
I downblock with all my funk.
At ABBQ, they are turning up the heat this football season like no other. Picture this, 15 massive TVs strategically placed throughout the restaurant so you won't miss a single touchdown. Step into their huge outdoor area where the excitement of the game meets the fresh air. Here's the kicker, and this is a big one for me. They got the sound on blast throughout the restaurant for the whole game. Your destination for mouth-watering barbecue and an unforgettable game day. ABBQ, meet and drink with us.
RV shows are over, but General RV knows campers might still be looking for the latest and greatest RVs, the top brands, and low RV show prices. Good news, we're bringing it all back during the RV Show Encore Sales Event, November 15th through the 19th. This is the only place to find low RV show prices on an incredible selection. Only at General RV in Orange Park on Wells Road off 295.
Need cash and have surfboards, guitars, power tools, or sports equipment? Come sell to Chuck and get top dollar. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Life's expensive. Free yourself from unused items at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn.
Now the Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
When it comes to playing at the bank this season, Jags fans know that Brandon McManus has been cash for the Teal and Black, and he would be money yet again for the ball club. In the second quarter, the Jacksonville kicker would connect on a 37-yard field goal that would cut the deficit to just 7 with 4:20 left in the half. The McManus field goal is your Performance Painting Play of the Game.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting, prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting! The time to buy an emergency generator is before you need it, not when you're sitting in the dark. Storms happen in a hurry in Florida, so be prepared. Protect your family and property with American Electrical Contracting. Call them today, 737-7770.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jags' poor performance on Sunday was filled with mistakes and critical errors on both sides of the ball. Coach Peterson wants to challenge his team to take the criticism and learn from it.
I want them to watch the film. I want them to make the corrections. They need to see it. I challenge them to be critical of their performance, good and bad, and then take the constructive criticism that the coach might have. It's the only way we can continue to get better. It's disappointing that, really both sides of the ball, I thought special teams was decent, probably the one bright spot, but offense and defense just did not play our best. And it's a head scratcher.
Doug Peterson, visit Jaguars.com for more. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Mr. Sparky of the First Coast, your on-time electrician on 1010XL.
All right, if you're posted up right now in the Jaguars Today YouTube channel, you see Jay Smooth has joined us in studio.
Okay.
Good morning, Jimmy. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, man. We'll get to you. We got a lot of questions for you. You're going to solve all the Jags issues in about 10 minutes for us, which we appreciate. very much. Logs, let's go back with Jeff. I don't know if you heard the last caller, Jeff. I just wanted to pass along his questions to you before we kind of grilled Jimmy here a little bit. Guy asked, should Shatley be playing left guard over Walker Little, basically? I'll boil it down to that. And are we getting enough physical play? He's not happy with the lack of physicality from his point of view from the tight end position. How do you address those 2 points?
All right. Well, first of all, good morning, Jimmy.
Morning, teammate.
It's a great question about Shatley. And Shatley has been playing pretty well the last couple of games, and then they make the change to go back to Walker Little, and Walker didn't have a very good game. And against a really good football player now, Javon Hargrave, one of the better defensive tackles in the league. And the reason they paid him all that money to leave Philadelphia, there was a reason for that. So could you have had a better performance with Shatley in there? Maybe, because it appeared that Walker Little wasn't ready to handle the power of Hargrave. So, yeah, you could make that argument. And then about the way of the National Football League is receiving tight ends, and it's a space game. And so I think Evan Ingram is a perfect fit for the modern-day tight end. Do you need to have a guy who's just a big, powerful blocker like a Mercedes Lewis or a Kyle Brady to go back to some of the best ones in Jaguars history? Yeah, it'd be great if that's what you are, if you're a running football team, but that's not what the Jaguars are. They're a team that likes to play in space, and so having a tight end that has the ability to do that, I think, is the way to go. But I will tell you, Evan Ingram is no slouch. He does a really good job of blocking and blocking in space. And then also the criticism of the position overall, I think, is not fair, because I think Luke Farrell's a good player. I think he's a good blocker. I think Brenton Strange is kind of an in-between guy to where he also is a space type of tight end, but also a very willing and a very good blocker. So the criticism of the tight end position, I think, is a little bit off, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, the guy said he wanted basically a guy who could maul you and, be an effective receiver. They don't have that many of those guys.
The list is maybe
two.
And
he brought up Kelsey, and look, Kelce's don't grow on every tree.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
I mean,
nor do Kittles, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 best tight ends in football are Kittle and Kelsey. Okay, and those are hard to find. I mean, Kittle's the best blocking tight end, I think, in the National Football League as far as guys that actually have some receiving skills. The last 2 games, his performance has been out of this world. And Kelsey is a space player. To bring up Kelsey like he's a dominant blocker, Kelsey's not a dominant blocker. Kelsey's a space playing tight end, but he looks like he's a dominant blocker because he's a bigger guy.
Right.
He's got the height, the weight, and all the measurables. And he's a good blocker, but he's not a dominant blocker.
All right, here with Jeff Lageman, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Jimmy Smith. Got all the Smiths down on that end of the table right now. All right, Jay Smooth, hopefully you had a good alumni weekend, at least up until kickoff. Just before we get into any specifics with you, just give us your overview of what went down this weekend.
Well, first of all, I'd like to just say, just listening to my teammate Jeff, man, he broke it down in some real.
That's what he does.
I mean, you can't break it down. He could just keep going on and on and on, position by position. I could just sit here and listen. But, it wasn't our day. I think that we weren't overmatched. It was just bad matchups here and there, and I keep having to go back to. Facing a team like this who is very physical. It seems like they play like they want it more. And then on top of that, in defense to well, I'm not going to give my team any excuses, but those fans, I could feel the energy even when I was on that field.
From the Niner fans.
From the Niner fans. And I kind of put myself in the mindset that, kind of reminiscing, okay, how would I feel if I was actually playing today? So I went to that mindset, but those fans were still the elephant in the room for me. And I know what the players are feeling. So on top of having to face a physical, hungry team as the 49ers, it was time for them to win. It was time for us to lose. You look at the schedule. Look at the Bills losing. So it's a lot of ways you can look at it, this loss, but we know what we got to do. What did we do this week in practice? This is what Coach Coughlin would do. He would go back, he would analyze every single day. What did we do Monday, Tuesday, on our off day, on those weeks that we lost the game that we didn't play the way we should have?
Let me just ask, what if you feel like at the end of the week, as a coaching staff, players, that you did put in a good week of practice? Does it go that way? Sometimes you feel like, man, we prepared and we still got our butts kicked.
Man, that was a great point. It does. It does.
So what
but
do you do
you
in
may
that
have
circumstance?
thought that you did the right thing.
Okay.
You know, and I'm sure Jeff can identify. We may have thought we were having a good practice, but that's dangerous, though. That's dangerous.
Logs, you relate to that as well?
Yeah.
And Jimmy brings up a great point. He's reflecting back on Coughlin about how he would go back and analyze the entire week before and see what could be done better. What did we miss? What didn't we do? Hell, Coughlin will go back and analyze the donuts that were served the week of that game.
Yes.
You know, but Jimmy's right. You know, I mean, sometimes, look, everything feels right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's just part of life. I mean, sometimes, you know, and that goes across for anything. I mean, for people preparing for parenthood or for whatever. You know, sometimes you just have a plan and you got this vision, but the vision doesn't happen. And life is unscripted, and sometimes that's just how it is, and you just got to try to fight through it. And this team couldn't fight through it, and that was tough. You know, one of the big reasons that they couldn't fight through it was defensively, they have been living with a lot of takeaways to help an offense that has been struggling a little bit. Didn't get any of them. You know, and they couldn't keep the 49ers offense off balance. You know, I mean, when you're trying to stop the 49ers offense and keep them off balance, you got to stop their running game. Well, hell, they averaged 5.5 yards a carry. You know, if you don't stop that, there's no chance of stopping everybody else in that offense. You know, if you can't stop McCaffrey.
We all think, Jimmy, that Calvin Ridley, who they acquired in the trade last year, has the ability to be that number one. Right, in this pass offense. We've seen glimpses of it through the first half of the season. It does feel like at some point there is some frustration. The fans felt like they were forcing the ball early on. I didn't necessarily feel that way, but maybe they were a little bit more early in the season. If you're in Calvin Ridley's shoes at this point, halfway through the season here in Jacksonville, what's your attitude to get yourself back into it in this Jaguars offense at this point?
Well, you got to look at this. First, I think when Calvin Ridley coming in, there's a lot of hype, and I think our expectations were a bit steep, not knowing. Nobody knew. He's
been almost 2 years.
Yeah,
it's been almost 2 years since you played ball, and even though when I'm watching him in training camp, good, you know, I know that when are we going to see that 2-year layoff? At some point in time during the season, is it going to be training camp? Is it going to be injuries early on? Is he going to be able to load manage good enough to make it through a long season when we really need him in the playoffs? So I think it was unfairly we put some expectations on Calvin Ridley. Now, I think he's one of the best route runners in the NFL right now. But he's in an offense where, you know, you get caught up with this is a number one receiver. We've got 3 number one receivers if you throw the ball to him. You know, at that rate, if you're throwing the ball to him like Jamar Chase is getting the ball thrown to him, I mean, we can do that, but that's not the type of ball that we're playing. We spread the ball around. We want to make your defense run from up and down, side to side, all areas of that field. Misdirections. That's the type of offense that we have. So it's hard to come in like me and Keenan and just have you know, first of all, a good offensive line like we had, you know, back in the day with Baselli and Leon Searcy on the bookends. We're going to run the ball down your throat, and if you just so happen to get fancy and bring your safety down, we're going deep, and our receivers are legit. So this offense, we didn't spread the ball around a lot. It went to 1 of 4 guys.
Right.
And you knew who our tight end was. You guys were talking about tight ends. You know, it's the hybrid tight end era right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kyle Brady probably wouldn't work in this offense. And you see what's with Mercedes. You know, you're just a special teams guy because the offensive have evolved from the big running backs, the big tight end,
Right.
unless you can run, like Travis Kelce. But that's just the way that things evolved in the NFL. So my point is, Calvin Ridley is one of the best receivers. We just got to put him in the position and get the ball to him. A lot of times it's not that game plan or that defense is not going to allow us to do that. But I think we're missing Zay Jones. As soon as we get Zay Jones back, and I know he had an incident lately, but as soon as we can get him back on the football field and in that offense, his presence alone matters in that huddle.
Open things up underneath by stretching the field, right? And
well, he's a playmaking receiver. You know what I'm saying? When there's a play that needs to be made, he's clutch, like we were talking about in Tommy's show. He's a clutch receiver. He's consistent, and you've seen him work hard, and you can depend on him, and you can trust him. That he's just a guy that I just see we need in an offense because of his presence.
Got Jaguar great Jimmy Smith here with us for a couple more minutes. Just what is your overall impression of where Trevor is here 2.5 seasons into his career?
I love Trevor. You know, he's I mean, you look at his record for what he's had to come through, you know, his path with his first year being a wash, and so he's responded great. You know, I love the guy, and he's the nicest guy, and you can't say anything bad to him. I mean, about him, or I just he's fun to watch, and I'm glad he's our franchise quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And that's kind of the point. I mean, you are the alpha receiver that this franchise has ever had, right? You would go to bat with Trevor Lawrence any day of the week, it sounds like.
Hell yeah. If I'm on that, I'm visualizing myself, boy, if I was a receiver. you know, we can run some kind of rotation, but I would love to catch one of those pretty balls.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have a few more of those end up in the end zone this year.
No doubt, Jimmy, after the way Sunday went, it does feel like we're having to do some therapy with the fan base here the last couple of days. It's understandable with how bad it went against the 49ers, but they do sit 6-3. Now, yes. 9 games into the season. When you look at the expectations going into the last 8 games of the year, what were your expectations coming into the season, and do you still feel like they can reach all the goals that you had in mind for them?
I mean, to be 6-3, regardless, who you got left playing, I mean, that's pretty good at this point. I mean, I don't think any teams would be not satisfied.
Upset, yeah.
Well, upset. I mean, obviously, we're all going to focus on the games that we lost. But 6-3 is pretty dang good at the end of the day when you sit back and we're in good position.
We're 3-6 at this point last year, so we'll take where they're at.
No, we still got Tennessee.
Sure.
We still got our division that's not going to be a cakewalk, guys.
No, Houston's coming in a big way.
They're here.
Well, that's a good point, right?
And we just never played like Tennessee and Houston, regardless of who's playing, whose record is what. Those games can go either way.
Houston has, no matter what state their franchise has been in, has always played the Jags tough. No question about it. Jimmy, before we let you get out of here, and we do appreciate you popping in and spending a few minutes with us here. I know Jag fans, based on the feedback we're getting, love hearing from you. You're in the pride of the Jaguars, obviously. Going to get a new member in.
Yes.
Your former head coach, Tom Coughlin. Just wanted to give you a moment to reflect on what he meant for you and this franchise.
I mean, it's hard to put it in words, It's like I was talking about on the last show. When I sit and do my life timeline, when it gets to Coughlin, you're gonna see like some highlights, and it's this. My life story is gonna pause right there, and you're gonna say, "Hey, now listen closely. This is when things get good." Now, that may sound crazy, but I don't know how else to tell you how much he meant for me, my family, for my career, and how it developed and took off. It's just you just can't put one thing on it. All I can do is just say thank you, and I'm blessed to have him as a part of my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
BC, before Coughlin and AT after Tom. Right? Jimmy Smith, the line in the sand right there. Logs, before we cut your former teammate, Lucy, I guess always your teammate, any last comment or thought for Jimmy?
No, I just when earlier we were talking and Jimmy was talking about Calvin Ridley and what type of a player he is, I was sitting there reminiscing about the days of old, because the one thing I think that this Jaguars offense misses is a vertical threat and a consistent vertical threat. Because, you go back to the old days, and I don't want to be one of these old guys keeps talking about it, but it still applies to today's football. And this offense that the Jaguars have now is very horizontal. But when Jimmy and Mark were on the field back in the day, and Jimmy was talking about, okay, if they were going to put that extra safety in the box, and then, okay, we were going deep. I remember watching it. I mean, Mark would sit there and give the money signal to Jimmy underneath of Dave Weidell's rear end, and that was the signal that, hey, go, it's go time. It's go time. And Mark threw the best deep ball down the sideline. Yep. One of the best I've ever seen. And Jimmy, you had a gear that was whatever gear was needed, he had. And it was an absolute thing of beauty to watch. And if the Jaguars had that today in this Doug Peterson offense, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I had Kadri Ismail on my Sirius XM show this weekend, and I asked him just at the end, I said, if I gave you a week, stretch out, do whatever you want to do, what could you run in the 40? He said he thinks 4.8. What could Jimmy Smith do in the 40? We gave you a week to get ready.
Well, see, Kadri,
he's smaller.
Yeah, and he's a track guy. I was never a track guy. I was just like, hey, I know I got to.
Could you break 5 right now?
I can break 5. I'll run a 4 something. It won't be I'll run under.
Good enough.
I'll run 4 seconds.
I've never run under 5.
4.9. I don't know. I'm just
something sub 5.
No, I'm calling BS on that, because if the ball's in the air, Jimmy's going to need to run 4.6.
Well, that's a good point, right? Let's throw a 40-yarder with the ball in the air. He's got a 4.6, 4.7 in him probably. Jay Smooth, always great to see you, man.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Teammate, good to hear your voice. Good to chop it up with you.
Good to hear you, man.
And for folks, they can check out Tom McManus's podcast. A bunch of fun material with Tommy Mack as well.
Yeah, it was raw, so it was real raw. I forgot that we were on.
Hey, that's how he is.
It was like me and him was in the car just talking.
Hey, that's beautiful. We love that, right? So, the raw, the real. All right. So hang out a minute. We'll get a photo with Jimmy in the studio. Logs, hang in there as well. We'll get back to you on the other side of the break. If you're on the line, we appreciate your patience this morning. We'll get to your calls coming up at 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone line. It's the great Jimmy Smith in studio here with us today with Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Awaken 180 weight loss. Hit my goal weight in the month of September and haven't added any pounds. That's right. Over 5 pounds a week is what Awaken 180 will guarantee. But the big thing with Awaken 180 is not losing the weight. A lot of people can help you lose weight. It's keeping it off with maintenance, with coaching, and it's free maintenance and coaching for life once you hit that goal weight. In fact, I had a friend just sign up with Awaken 180. I'm so excited for them because I know what it was like going through those initial weeks watching the pounds just melt away. If you need to lose 20, 50, 100, it doesn't matter the number, Awaken 180 can help you not only lose it, but maintain that weight loss and do it in a way that suits your lifestyle. Give them a call at 844-346-1800. Again, that's 844-346-1800, or go online and reserve your consultation at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, Jaguars Today Tuesday.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios. Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He doesn't live at the stadium, but you might think he does.
Nobody knows the Jags like Johnny O.
Oh, no. Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They're landing in Jacksonville. Ancient Aliens, live. This Sunday at Florida Theater. The Out of This World Tour.
All of you are in this journey. All of us together.
Ancient Aliens Project Earth, live this Sunday at Florida Theater. last chance to get your tickets at floridatheater.com. Explore the theory of the extraterrestrial.
Ancient aliens. It's out of this world.
Holidays are upon us, and that means family gatherings indoors. Make your indoor air cleaner and safer with Bold City Heating and Air. Say goodbye to viruses, allergens, and dust with Black Friday prices all month on Bold City's duct cleaning and air purification services. Breathe easy and enjoy the holidays worry-free with unbelievable sale prices all month from Bold City Heating and Air, your trusted partner for a healthier home. Visit BoldCityAC.com.
These fall months are the perfect time to make sure that your roof has not been damaged after the storm season. So schedule a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 15% off your roof replacement and repairs. Plus, there's flexible financing options available. This offer expires November 30th and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Pastor Joby Martin here with the Church of 1122. We are honored once again to partner with the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for the Great Futures Weekend, which includes golf and Mackenzie's 5K run at the esteemed TPC Stadium course. Help us continue to honor Mackenzie Wilson's legacy. That's Friday and Saturday, November 17th and 18th. You can golf or you can run. It'll be a great time. Additional info at MackenzieRun.org. Proceeds go to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is the sports medicine leader in Northeast Florida. We're proud to be the official sports medicine provider for your hometown teams, including the Jaguars, Sharks, Axemen, Armada, and the Jumbo Shrimp. We have the most cutting-edge resources for sports medicine care, including active armor casting, Alter-G anti-gravity treadmills, and highly trained physicians and athletic trainers. JOI is truly where the pros go, and so should you.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
AJ Fernandez is one of the most sought-after cigar brands in the country. This Saturday at Tobacco Cove, you can sample the passion, discipline, and great tobacco of his cigars. His cigars have been named Cigar of the Year and consistently achieve ratings of 90 and above. A variety of his blends will be available to try and enjoy this Saturday from 1 to 4 at Tobacco Cove for an event you don't want to miss. Tobacco Cove, Bay Meadows, and San Jose, it's more than a smoke shop, it's an experience.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. If you're looking for a real solution to your thinning hair or hair loss, call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS.
What's causing your hair to fall out? Can your hair grow back? Get to the root of your problem with IHRS Hair and Scalp Analysis. This analysis magnifies your hair and scalp 400 times to see what procedures can restore your hair. Call right now for your free analysis, 904-777-IHRS, or visit hairforme.com. Stop wasting money on solutions that don't work. IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years. They are the only clinic to offer the trademarked multi-unit hair grafting PRP platelet-rich plasma and the NeoGraft FUE hair transplant procedure.
Schedule your free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 904-777-IHRS or visit hair4me.com. Hairforme.com.
Be here and be loud as the Jaguars take on the Tennessee Titans Sunday, November 19th. Be at the bank for this divisional rivalry when Trevor Lawrence leads the team in an exciting matchup. Plus, join us as we celebrate Salute to Service and honor our military all game day long. Seats may be sold out, but a limited number of standing room only tickets are still available, so don't miss your chance to be there. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000 now.
Are you looking for increased privacy and protection for for your family and pets, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Superior Fence and Rail is Jacksonville's top-rated fence company, delivering the highest quality fence products. They'll treat your property as if it's their own. So get off the fence and get your privacy back. Call Superior Fence and Rail today for your on-site estimates.
When you're on the fence about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by Bobcat of Jacksonville. As Florida turns the page to Missouri, head coach Billy Napier knows the Gators have another formidable challenge.
Been opportunistic, and they've won games. LSU and Georgia being their 2 losses. So, good football team, tough place to play.
FSU head coach Mike Norvell won't have the team take time off to heal or rest as they wind down the regular season.
We respect our responsibility. We respect who we're playing. We're going to respect all things that are necessary to go out and be better than we've ever been come Saturday.
The FSU men's basketball team blew out Central Michigan to go 2-0 thus far this season. Florida and Florida A&M will square off this evening in basketball. The Gators are coming off a loss to Virginia in a Hall of Fame classic. The Rattlers, meanwhile, are halfway through a 4-game start to the season that has them playing 4 power conference opponents. Game time is 7 p.m. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
At 11:04, it's 71 degrees. Time and Sun brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman is brought to you by Mr. Sparky of the First Coast, your on-time electrician on 1010XL.
David shuffles his feet, turns and launches this one in the direction of Mike Sims Walker. This one's going to be batted and caught! Touchdown! Oh my gosh! How did that happen? It was batted back into the arms of Mike Thomas, and the Jaguars have won it!
13 years ago today, I smugly turned to my right to look at the Houston media that had been crowing the whole game, Tony. I'll never forget it. They were just so cocky that day. It's like, what do you even care? You don't play for them. And then David Garrard threw the Hail Mary. That was 13 years ago today. So a good Jaguar memory that we hope can help wash away some of the stench of the weekend. Jeff Lageman back here with us. Good to talk to your teammate, Jimmy Smith there. Logs, let me just ask you, would you, on the offensive line, I know you mentioned, we asked you about Tyler Shatley. In general, we've been hearing all season, Walker Little's maybe their best offensive lineman, one of the best. Is he just not a great fit playing guard, in your opinion?
No, I don't think that.
Okay.
Because, when he played guard in the preseason and when he played it with very limited plays to really evaluate in the regular season this year, he's played pretty well. I think it's just, when you go against when you're coming back from an injury at a position that you haven't taken a lot of snaps, and you line up and you put your hand, well, I guess I was going to say in the ground, but the Jaguars don't put their hand in the ground on offensive line. When you line up and all of a sudden you look across the way and you see this dude named Javon Hargrave who is wearing a jersey that is very tight because he's big and strong and powerful. It's a different world. If he were coming back and playing against maybe one of the Houston Texans defensive linemen, and that's kind of an area of weakness for that football team, then it's different. So I think he's going to be fine. And do I think his perfect position is guard? No, I think his best position is tackle. And I think in the future, I think that's where he's going to end up finding a home. And I don't know exactly if that's here or if that's somewhere else. But look, I think eventually he can be part of one of your best 5. This past game, he didn't show that, and maybe Shatley would have been a better option, like we talked about. But he's got to get back out there sometime, and hopefully he plays better. And if he does, great. And if he doesn't, it sure is nice to have a guy like Tyler Shatley who is dependable, and you value him and you trust him.
All right, let's get back to the phone lines here on a Check the Tape Tuesday, 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines. Fred on the south side is next up. Hello, Fred.
Yes. I want to first of all say that you guys are responsible for the sanity of so many people in prison. I just got finished doing a 15-year sentence at a law correctional institution, and you guys helped me greatly. Now I want to get to Trevor. Excuse me?
No, I just was reacting to
nice
what you
to
said.
hear. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah. I understand. It seems that Trevor isn't anticipating his throws like he was doing the second half of the year last year. Like when he started forcing the ball to Calvin Ridley, the 50-50 balls, it seemed Calvin Ridley is coming down with him. But it seemed just like a few weeks ago when he played Pittsburgh, he had Christian Kirk on the wheel route when he was in the slant. And he hesitated, and then he still completed the pass, but he got hit because he hesitated instead of anticipating the throw. But if he just anticipates the throw to Calvin Ridley, it seems we'll have a lot more completions. The 50-50 balls, it seems Calvin Ridley is coming down with them. Thank you. I take my comments out there.
Appreciate it, Fred. Logs, what do you make? I mean, is Trevor not diagnosing quick enough on some of these situations? Is he missing opportunities for easier completions or big plays from your film review? Logs? All right. Yeah. We'll work it out with Jeff. Sometimes the phone lines are like that. 641-1010.
Yeah. Certainly got sped up this week, right? Like, it doesn't feel like that's been an issue week to week for Trevor Lawrence, but this week, for whatever combination of reasons it was, right? It was clearly a problem with him. The first read was taken away, and look, when Bosa said it last week, and we were all like, oh, okay, whatever, right? Well, that's how it looked on Sunday. They were able to take away a read, and I think a large part of that is that they only had to bring 3 or 4 guys to get pressure on Trevor this week, unfortunately.
Jeff, did you hear the question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I did, and sorry about that. And I said, first off, we appreciate Fred for the compliment. I mean, getting through a tough time, that's much appreciated there. The Calvin Ridley's such a unique player. You know, when we first saw him and everybody gets excited, and Jimmy brought up the point about how he had a 2-year layoff, and that's real. But it's not just a 2-year layoff. You know, there has to be a level of comfort and time spent together on task with the quarterback and Calvin Ridley, because, you know, the one thing that I've noticed about Calvin Ridley is that he doesn't get a ton of separation as much as I thought. But at the same token, when the ball is thrown his way, when the coverage is tight, he catches the ball typically. And so sometimes there takes a little bit of time to get comfortable as a quarterback, I think, for that quarterback to throw the ball when you don't have the separation maybe that you're used to seeing. And then also the more goes up. You know, give you an example. In the ball game, you remember when Trevor threw the ball to Chris Kirk and he was running a deep over, and there was like 2, maybe 3 49ers in the area, and we're like, oh, that nearly got intercepted.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Ridley was wide open on the other side of the field and on an end. I mean, wide open. And maybe if there's more trust, maybe if there's more time spent together, whatever you want to call it, maybe Trevor sees that if they had a year under their belt or if they had more time together. But I think that that's something that's still evolving, and I think it still can be better, and it will be better.
Hey, let me ask you about the one that went off Tank Bigsby's hands. You know, I know it was a hot pass, but I'm of the opinion you get your hands up, though. Well, yeah, but he got both hands on it. I mean, does he need to do a better job bringing that in? I mean, I'm not saying Trevor couldn't have put a little more touch on it, but he was under great duress as well. Where do you ascribe fault there? And it seems like Bigsby, if he gets a handful of touches, you're holding your breath every game that he may lay one on the ground in some form or fashion.
Yeah, and first of all, about Bigsby, I mean, I think, what is he? He's got like 27, 28 touches, I think, on the season, something like that, and he's got 4 turnovers that have been either directly or indirectly due to him.
Right.
And that's a hard number. And if I'm the coaching staff, I'm not quite trusting that yet, and I'm going to stick with Ernest Johnson a little bit more. The play that we're talking about, I put it on both of them, but I put that one mainly on Trevor. Now, Trevor's under duress, and at the last second, Trevor throws what is a pass that's very, very, very hard to a player who is literally yards away, and there's no chance of that having any kind of impact on the play. You know, so Trevor's just got to eat it right there, in my opinion. But if the ball is thrown, you know, you don't want to have it go off the hands of Tank Bigsby. So, but look, you can put some really good receivers, and that's a tough one to catch for anybody under that situation.
Well, I think it was 3rd and short, right, on the play, and I'm assuming, Trevor's thinking if I take a sack, that's going to take us out of going for it on 4th down. But a lot of people have brought up this question in one form or another, Logs, on how they're going in pistol or full shotgun when they're in 3rd and short. They're reading it as a sign that we don't think we can push our way to pick up the yard. Sometimes on 3rd down, you're going to do that and you're going to take a shot, and because you're going to come back on 4th and feel like you can pick up that tough yard. What would your approach be right now in short yardage situations for the Jags?
Well, it's kind of surprising a little bit. Look, the reality is that this offense is one of the teams that's not very good at 3rd and 4th and short running the football. If you look at it from a numbers standpoint, the Jaguars have converted around 57% right now in the 3rd and short when they run the football. The NFL average is over 71%. So that's an area that's a problem area for this offense. And what's the solution to that? Well, some people say, well, let the offensive line put their hand in the ground and be a little bit more. What's the right word? Less to keep the defense less guessing, I guess. Okay, put your hand in the ground and just come off the ball. Is one way. The other way and mindset is that, okay, this is a passing league, and spread the team out and take advantage of a great quarterback that's got really good receivers, and then also have the ability to mix in the run. And I understand that part of it too. It would be nice to be able to have an offensive line that can line up, and Philadelphia is the perfect example of that, where you line up and you just, whether you do the sneak or whether you run the ball, you just trust your offensive line. And right now, I don't know if they trust the offensive line to do that, but because of the numbers that I talked about, 57%. So
watching
it is what it is.
Watching Monday Night Football last night, right? Like, you get it when you got the extra point and there's a defensive penalty, and you get it at the 1 instead of the 2, teams tend to go for it on 4th down, right? Because now you're a yard closer. So Buffalo did that, and then they passed. And I'm like, what is the advantage of passing from the 1 yard line as opposed to the 2? Like, I get, all right, we're going to line up and power it in there. My point being, that is just how teams operate somewhat now in the NFL, that it is so much of a passing league that, even in that circumstance, okay, we're a yard closer, you would think, all right, we're going to sneak Josh Allen or we're going to hand it to Latavius Murray. But no, they're like, no, we're just going to spread them out and we're going to throw a 2-pointer to Gabe Davis. So this is kind of the modern NFL. Let's get one more in on this side of the break, and that's Dean on the south side. Dean, you're on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'd like to get Jeff's perspective on this whole thing with the Jags and the, all the depression after losing to San Francisco. I mean, the NFL is a week-to-week league, and, they do the power rankings, which I don't make much sense. It's called standings in the NFL. I mean, you do power rankings in college football. And the other thing of it is just with the, the Jags are in third playoff spots, in November. Who cares about November? It's January 7th, the only date that counts as far as where you're at in the playoff standing. So I'd like to get Jeff's perspective on that.
What's the
Dean,
all right.
Dean is dead on.
Okay,
he's dead on. When you talk about, okay, it doesn't matter, what your power rankings are right now, and okay, it's what the standings are when the season concludes, and that's dead on the money. And Doug Peterson talked about it. He reiterated to his football team, look, we haven't done anything yet. The 49ers have, and he talked about this in his postgame, they've done something. They've been a consistent winner. And we just had one winning season where, they were essentially 9-8. And so, and the head coach is emphasizing that. And sometimes it takes a little while to kind of understand that from a player perspective, because look, human nature is what it is. I mean, you want to pat yourself on the back occasionally, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's a learning process. It's a process to become a perennial competitive football team. And I believe that Doug Peterson has got this team in the right mindset, and he's gonna keep coaching, and he's gonna have this football team learn from it and get better through it.
We're going to find out real quick, and it can't get here soon enough on Sunday. Jeff Logman still with us here on a Check the Tape Tuesday, so take advantage. 641-1010 on the All Pro Roofing phone lines. We'll get back to your calls on the other side and pass along some of your social media questions as well for Logs. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here with you. This is Jaguars Today on 1010 XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Pella Windows and Doors. Man, you need some good, secure windows today with all that nasty weather blowing around out there. My house looks good. It feels great. It's everything I wanted it to be when I went to Pella because they're the leaders in the industry. I needed new windows for my home. The resale value has gone way up. Not that I'm looking to move, but I'm really enjoying the view from my Pella windows. Consumer Reports overall top choice for energy efficiency and stylish design when it comes to windows and doors is Pella Windows and Doors. So visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway or find them online at PellaJacks.com.
It's Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes from the JOI studios at 1010XL. JOI, where the pros go.
He is tough. He sets the tone.
If the O-line is the backbone of the offense, then a back injury could be a backbreaker.
Oh, boy, this is starting to get ugly.
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update on 1010XL.
Jacksonville.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS right here in Jacksonville is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about enjoying your life. So often we can go through life trying to make a living instead of making a life. Yes, it's good to be goal-oriented, but let me encourage you today that our days are numbered. We're not promised tomorrow, so go out and take time to be with your family. You'll always have your work, but you won't always have your family.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
Frank Frangie here. This Thanksgiving, only at the Southern Steer Butcher website. For a limited time, order your never-frozen Amish-raised turkey. Raised with care, free from hormones, steroids, and artificial ingredients. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Do you love sports? Do you also love wings? Enjoy the best wings in Jacksonville in Miramar, Mandarin, and Oakleaf at Players Grill. Watch your favorite teams and enjoy burgers, pizza, salads, and of course, wings. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman.
We take you from the water to the woods.
On the Nimnit Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Stop wasting your money on bottled water and call Duck Duck Rooter. We can install a new water filtration system and softener at your home or business. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and give us a call today for a quote. DuckDuckRooter.com.
You can't have exceptional water quality without the hefty price. With Kanaya Water Systems, a premium, high-quality water and filtration system that won't leave your wallet taking an L. Search KENAI Water, Jacksonville.
The year is almost over. Do you need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt-free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Listen, if you have a ton of equity in your house and Loan Pronto can help you turn that equity into cash, you can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards, pay off personal loans, or start that home improvement project. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact. So your 3% rate, it's protected. And with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line program, 90% of the time, there's no need for an appraisal. So you can get your money super fast. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards before the new year. Get yourself on solid financial footing before the year ends and call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hunting season is here, so lock and load on that new rifle or shotgun at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Tons of great options with the best prices and no waiting this side of the ditch. Arm yourself with the best at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Atlantic Self Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Now, the Tire Outlet Drive of the Game. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
It may not have been the prettiest of days in Jacksonville. However, the Young Guns understand how to bring sunshine to the Sunshine State. In the second quarter, Trevor Lawrence would lead the Jags on a 14-play, 80-yard drive, capped off by a Brandon McManus 37-yard field goal, making the score 10-3 with 4:20 left in the half. The 7-minute, 36-second drive is your Tire Outlet Drive of the Game.
Is your vehicle in need of some TLC? Bring it to the experts at Tire Outlet. With over 40 years of experience in 15 locations across Florida, Tire Outlet is the brand you can trust. Our certified technicians do the job right to get you in and out in no time flat. Hurry in for great deals on tires and automotive service. We offer free tire rotations, free brake inspections, rebate offers on brand name tires, and a legendary price match guarantee on every set of brand new tires. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is brought to you by Mr. Sparky of the First Coast, your on-time electrician on 1010XL.
No sleep. Bill Duval. And then we're going to put the Titans to sleep this weekend. A little knockout shot, Tony, for that crew coming in. Let's hope. Jeff Lageman here with us, Logs. Let's get back to the phone calls. Got a lot of them, obviously, coming off that 31-point beatdown administered by the San Francisco 49ers to the Jacksonville Jaguars. 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines. If you'd like to get in with Jeff, dang it, I just hung up on him. Tom on the south side. Tom, why don't you tell us what you want to ask Jeff, and we'll pass that along as soon as we reconnect with him here in a second.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I was just going to ask Jeff, well, tell him, number one, I've been following the Jaguars since, unfortunately, the year we got beat by Tennessee. But I want to know what he thought about the offensive line. It looked like they made some changes. If I'm right, they put Little at guard. And what he thought about the overall grade of them all, and if there's a possibility that the guy that they required from Minnesota might be coming in there next week.
All right, thank you, Tom. We've talked a good bit about Walker Little this morning, Jeff, but not specifically about Ezra Cleveland. Do you anticipate him getting a starting opportunity sooner rather than later?
Well, that's a great question, and a couple things to consider with Ezra, which is, number one, how's the health of his toe, because he came in with an injury, and talked to him last week, and he felt that it was about 95%. And 95% is still not 100%. And number two is how long will it take him to understand the offense, and then also how long would it take him to gain the trust of the coaches, and namely the offensive line coach, which is Phil Rauscher, who worked with Ezra in Minnesota a couple of years ago. So it's an interesting question. I don't know the answer to that. I think a lot of it depends on what the coaches are seeing out of Walker Little, what they're seeing out of Ezra Cleveland. But the one thing that you would like to have is some continuity with your offensive line. When you start just sitting there changing pieces on a weekly basis, that's never good for anything. So I think this week they'll probably stick with Walker Little, and then, once you play that game and you see where it's at, then you go from there.
All right, we'll get back to the lines here in a second, but first let's let Tony Smith take us around the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
The New England Patriots put in a waiver claim for running back JaMycal Hasty, who was waived by the Jaguars over the weekend. Tennessee Titans offensive tackle Andre Dillard is in the league's concussion protocol. The Buffalo Bills are firing offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. Dallas linebacker Leighton Vander Esch will miss the rest of the season with a neck injury. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has said that his future playing career is unclear at this point as well. Atlanta head coach Arthur Smith said that they will spend the bye week evaluating the position before naming either Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke as their starter coming out of the bye week. Chicago head coach Matt Eberflus said that quarterback Justin Fields has not been cleared to return yet and that they will wait to see how he practices on Wednesday before commenting any further on his potential to return this week. Baltimore head coach John Harbaugh said on Monday that offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley is day-to-day and was a did not practice in their Monday practice estimation as the Ravens prepare to play Cincinnati on Thursday night this week. Cincinnati head coach Zach Taylor said that it will be tough for T. Higgins to be able to play on Thursday after missing their Week 10 game due to a hamstring injury. He said that Trey Hendrickson is day-to-day after an MRI revealed that it was a hyperextension following an MRI on Monday. Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford is expected to return from a thumb injury this week. Carolina has opened the practice window for tight end Ian Thomas and cornerback J.C. Horn, and the New Orleans Saints hosted outside linebacker Jason Pierre-Paul for a workout on Monday.
All right, thank you, Tony. My computer's going in and out here, Dylan, so won't you be kind enough to punch up Glenn out of Jack's Beach next up here with Jeff Logman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Good morning, Glenn.
Hey, brother. Good morning, everybody. Really just wanted to try to put some perspective on what I saw. You know, I go to every game, and I'm at every game. And, you know, I didn't expect to win on Sunday. I'm a nuts and bolts guy comparing talent, and there's always exceptions with outcomes in the National Football League. But, you know, the big picture for me is that we're not there yet, but our window just opened. And that football team that we played Sunday, they are loaded, and their window is now. And then, you know, I'm okay. I'm not okay with the flat performance and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the sky is not falling for me as a season ticket holder. I think these next two games are our season. If we win both these games, we get into the tournament. And as we know, anything can happen. And, you know, I'm just patient, and we've got to continue to get better. And the next 3 years, we can beat the San Francisco 49ers. Thanks.
All right, Glenn, what do you say to all that, Logs?
Well, look, I appreciate, Glenn, the patience. And I think as a former player and also as a broadcaster and as obviously a big fan of this football team, I was highly disappointed in this game. And the reason I was disappointed, this Jaguars defense plays what is called bully ball. It's a brand of football where they stop the run. They didn't do that, you know. And I thought that they would be able to do that and then therefore put more pressure on a young quarterback in Brock Purdy that would make it difficult for the 49ers offense. And I thought that Trevor Lawrence would be able to be a little bit of a difference maker in this game that would essentially equalize the power of the 49ers front. Neither one of those things happened. And that was disappointing to me. And it's really disappointing when you get beat by 31, because I would feel a lot better about it, Glenn, if all of a sudden, okay, you lose by 3 and you played a good football team, but then you just lost to a good football team because it came down to the end and maybe something happens. I mean, to me, it's a lot more and a lot easier to swallow when you lose in that fashion as opposed to a 31-point blowout. And on top of that, just from a media perspective, and I know it doesn't matter to the players and the coaches and all that, but you know, you want to have that respect for this football team. And when you have a game that has the magnitude of the attention of this 49ers game, and then you get blown out by 31, then all of a sudden everybody from the outside, when I say outside, that means everybody that's not, part of Duval, they start looking at the Jaguars. Yeah, they're just, they're not that good of a football team. Who they kid? And so you want people to believe that they're a good football team. But, But right now, when you lose by 31, that's a tough one to swallow, and it makes it hard for people to believe in this team.
Yeah, I'm not buying this. Our window is 3 years from now either. Like your
no.
window is today. There's nothing. You could have a wave of injuries. All kinds of things can happen in the future. Look at the Buffalo Bills. They thought their window was wide open. Doesn't appear to be at the moment.
Well, I understood that as the window is for the next 3 years. That's how I took it.
If that's the case, that's exactly right. The one thing, too, what Glenn brought up, which I think he's totally spot on. Look, you win these next 2 games, okay, we're going to forget about that 49ers game pretty quick. And then, Tony, in the Around the League update that you just gave with Andre Dillard, I believe you said he was in the concussion protocol.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And that's a big deal because, look, the Tennessee Titans offensive line was the worst offensive line in football last year. And they completely revamped it. They have a high draft pick. They spent money in free agency. They moved a couple guys around. They already lost Nicholas Petit-Farrar, their starting left tackle, and Dillard was in his place because of the previous starter went to IR. This is a big loss if Dillard cannot play in this ball game, especially when that's the position that has to block our best defensive player in Josh Allen.
And along those lines, breaking here in the last minute, the NFL has suspended Texans linebacker Denzel Perryman for 3 games for repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect health and safety of players. Sunday was his 7th use of helmet foul, so that game in a couple of weeks we'll see. Obviously you would expect him to appeal that suspension, but we'll see where it ultimately lands and if we're going to see Perriman on the field for the Texans here in 2
Did
weeks.
he miss the first game? He's been out so many games this year. He didn't play against the Jags first time around anyway.
He was injured the first game.
Right. So, the business as usual for the Texans on that front. He's missed several games this year, but I'd rather have him shorthanded than not. All right.
He's already got 7. Man.
If you are 7 what?
Of those fouls that he's getting suspended for.
Right. Oh, absolutely. All right. If you're on the line, stay right there. We'll get a few more in on the other side. Jim and Dylan next 2 on deck with Jeff Logman. This is a Check the Tape Tuesday. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. You want to get the taste of that L out of your mouth? Well, swing into a Gate station, head to the Fresh Case, and know that Dandy's going to have a great bevy of options for you for food on the go, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack time, anytime your stomach's growling a little bit, swing in to a Gate, head to the Fresh Case, look for that Dandy and the Anytime Deli label. Same great company, created by the Thompson family, a Jacksonville family, over 65 years ago, and thriving here on the First Coast, giving you the highest quality food because they make it with the highest quality ingredients, deliver fresh daily around the First Coast. Great variety, and the prices that always put a smile on your face, man. Save me a classic tuna salad, but load up on whatever you want. Dandy will bring more. It's all good. When you're hungry, on the go in Duval, Dandy and the Anytime Deli names are absolutely the names to know. So when you are, do what I do. Fill up your belly and go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
It's a Jaguars Today Tuesday on 1010XL.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes. It's high school football playoff play-by-play.
It's the second round of the 2M Regional Semifinals. Bulls Reigns. Friday at 6:30 on 1010XL. Look, Thanksgiving is almost here. It's time to get that home repair project you've been putting off done before the family comes over. From the honey-do list to bathroom remodeling, get First Coast Home Pros to do it for you. FirstCoastHomePros.com.
Here's what's happening in Bulldog Country. The Georgia Bulldog Report. Brought to you by Travis Cummings and the Bailey Group.
The Bulldogs punched their ticket to the SEC title game on Saturday night with a 52-17 demolition of Ole Miss.
Plowing right through the Rebels defense. Georgia puts 100 on Ole Miss and will steamroll into Knoxville, looking very much the heavyweight out of the East.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. Beaver's annual Black Friday silent sale. Every car on the lot will be discounted so low, we can't even show the prices on TV. Doors open at 6 a.m. Friday. First come, first served. And once they're gone, it's over. Plus, anyone who buys between 6 and 9 a.m. will get a big screen TV and $1,000 cash. Want more? We're giving away free oil changes between 6 and 9 a.m. The Black Friday silent sale only at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. You don't want to miss this.
This is Hayes Carline for Island Wing Company, located on Southside near Tinseltown, and our new location at Bartram Park in St. Johns County. 2 great locations offering the ultimate sports bar experience where you can stick to healthy options. Island Wing Company has a wide selection of fryer-free food. The wings are baked, not fried, with so many awesome flavors to choose from. You can also get delicious salmon, tuna, flatbreads, and tacos. With tons of spectacular TVs, dog-friendly patios, and 2 daily happy hours, Island Wings can't be beat.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today.
This holiday season, sit back and enjoy your time with family and friends. But if you have relatives who always point out the stains in your garage, or friends who talk about the cracks in your patio, we're here to help. Shark Coatings can coat your garage, patio, or driveway before those folks come over for holiday dinner. So now, instead of politics and religion, you can talk about how Shark Coatings transformed your home before the pumpkin pie is served. Shark Coatings, we're ready when you are.
When it comes to commercial fence services, Superior Fence and Rail has you covered. If your business needs automatic gates or security fence and railings, trust Superior with your next commercial project. Superior's team delivers great communication, high-quality products, and exceptional customer service. Just read any of their 2,300-plus reviews.
When you're on the fence about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
RV shows are over, but General RV knows campers might still be looking for the latest and greatest RVs, the top brands, and low RV show prices. Good news, we're bringing it all back during the RV Show Encore Sales Event, November 15th through the 19th. This is the only place to find low RV show prices on an incredible selection. Only at General RV in Orange Park on Wells Road off 295.
Are you an experienced automotive technician and tired of working for employers who put profit over people? Then come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road and get trained on how to diagnose and rebuild today's complex transmissions. See how we're different. Get traction on your career or come to Action.
Equal opportunity employer. A judge has a gavel. I've got a hammer. I'm Hayes Carline. It's Hammer Time with Hayes. Weekdays on the Frangie Show on 1010XL. Brought to you by Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters, the golden standard in roofing.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 46th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off on GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget. And with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Open 7 days a week in December.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and you may want to sit down for this one. My first week with Awaken 180 might sound like a fairy tale, but those 12 pounds lost are the real deal, and the weight continues to fall off in week 2. The other day, a friend of mine said, hey man, you're changing by the day. They can see the results after 1 week of Awaken 180. Look, I did the math. If I choose the weight loss injections instead, it would take 2 months to lose what I've dropped in 7 days. So how's it happening? I'm eating to lose weight. That's how Awaken 180 works. I have a personal coach and game plan, and so will you. And the pounds are looking for the exit road. And the best part is, they won't loop back. Get down to your ideal weight fast and safely, and they'll teach you how to keep it off with free lifetime support. That's right, free lifetime support. There's no supplements, suppressants, or medications. Just a safe, simple weight loss program that can work for anyone. I'm not just losing it, I'm living it. If you want in on these results, do what Mike Dempsey and I did. Call Awaken 180 at 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Tim Pearson here, founder of Chattanooga Whiskey. Did you know that Chattanooga Whiskey was awarded Craft Producer of the Year by Whiskey Magazine? We spent years perfecting our unique style of bourbon we call Tennessee High Malt. Try a bourbon that's truly best in craft today. Drink Chattanooga Whiskey, enjoy responsibly.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
This is Dr. James Perry, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jags offense was only able to put up 3 points in the blowout loss to the 49ers on Sunday. Coach Peterson weighed in on the offense's mistakes and how they need to execute next time around.
I mean, when you look at it, the offense goes 3 and out, sack on third down. This is what's crazy. We blocked the wrong guy. We had a false start. We had a missed signal on the screen on the second possession. And then we ended up, had a sack, we punt on the third series. Fourth series, we had a delay a game, a fumble, or a sack fumble. Fifth series, we finally got it together and we went down and got a field goal. But why has it got to take us to the fifth series to get it going? It's everything we can control.
Doug Peterson, courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman, Tuesday,
is brought to you by
Mr. Sparky of the First Coast, your on-time electrician on 1010XL.
All right, just an update from earlier this morning. You probably have seen it on social media. We mentioned the Zay Jones arrest and appearance on a misdemeanor domestic battery. His next court appearance will be Wednesday, December 6th, and bail was set at just over $2,500. So that's where things stand right now. That's about the extent of it, according to the report, the reports we're seeing. And Jeff Prosser had this out there before, I think, anybody this morning, that Zay is believed to have snatched a necklace off the neck of the mother of one of his children. Honestly, I say one of his children. I don't know his family situation. They have a child together. She was here last night. She lives in Orlando, and that's kind of the extent of what we know right now. Obviously, a developing situation. We'll keep our eye on that. Let's hit up today's 10-10 take, Dylan.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take. Brought to you by J&M Roofing Jacksonville, your storm restoration specialists.
All right, Logs, I'd like to ask you about Press Taylor and just the play calling in general. When things don't go well, people are looking for answers. How much of the Jags' offensive woes this weekend were due to play calling? Was it a combination? It usually is, but would you lean more towards the calling or the execution of what you saw on film?
No, I would lean more towards the execution, and then I would also go towards some of the mistakes where they got behind the chains. And the clip you just played from Doug Peterson, he talked about some of the mistakes that they made. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of those ended up putting the offense in a tough situation where, it makes it harder for a play caller, period. And it makes it harder for the plays that you call when you make mistakes like that. And this offense needs to clean up some of that stuff, and it's one of the reasons why it's been clunky so far this year. And I mean, if you think about it, if this defense hasn't or wasn't able to get 18 takeaways in the previous games, then really where would this team be at? Because this offense has been, I think, picked up in a lot of ways by the defense, giving it more opportunities, and special teams has also been a little bit of a boost for this football team or the offensive side of the ball so far this year. So they've got some things to fix on offense, and the good thing is that once you get into December, that's when you want to be hitting on all cylinders. And right now they're still trying to get a few of those cylinders fired up.
No doubt. All right, let's get a couple calls in here. I've been waiting patiently. Dylan is checking in from Oregon. Dylan, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead, please.
Hey, fellas. I was going to ask a couple questions about coaching. It sounds like you guys kind of hit those points. One of them, I guess I'll add, is on the broadcast, there's a part in the game where they zoomed in close on the field, and it sounded like a couple of the 49ers are hollering out, like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. You kind of see that the players were like, oh, shit, or excuse me.
All right, thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it. There we go. Let's go to Jim and Mandarin next up on Jaguars Today. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Good. The wife and I, whose handle is the Godmother, just got at you guys' station so she can pick up her ABBQ barbecue from winning the weekly fantasy a couple weeks ago. But
awesome. All right.
Yeah, I had a question for Jeff as a defensive guy. As we got near the end of the game and McCaffrey was shooting for that touchdown so he could extend his record, I was wondering if the defense puts any extra focus there at the end to maybe to try and stop him. I know that the fans in the stands were all yelling to put all 11 guys on him so we could at least have something to crow at on the way back out of there during that game. So I just wanted to know if there are any like defensive focuses or anything like that at the end if the defense thinks about that.
Well,
I'll
McCaffrey
take it off
was
the air.
Thanks, Jim.
And great question, Jim. And McCaffrey was the focus at the beginning of the game too. Because he's such a good player and he's really the engine that drives that 49ers car on offense. And then late in the ball game, when it was very apparent that the 49ers were trying to get him his 18th consecutive game with a touchdown, that all the attention was on him, and you knew that where the ball was going. And so, yeah, as a defensive player in that situation, you don't want to have that happen on your watch, and you want to make sure that. And in some ways, it's almost like rubbing it in because the score is what it is, 34-3, and the team's still trying to score just to get somebody a personal record. And if I'm on the field, I'm kind of pissed about it, and I'm not very happy about it that they're worrying about an individual accomplishment in a game which are kicking our butts, by 31 points. So, but yeah, the defense knew it. They were aware of it, and McCaffrey was a focal point from the beginning of the ball game and really to the end because of that record.
Jeff, before we cut you loose today, just how do you see it going with Tennessee this week? Like, what is your plan of attack offensively and defensively in a nutshell if you're the Jaguars?
You got to find a rhythm on offense and work to keep trying to find the rhythm that's best for you. And right now, this offense doesn't seem to have a great rhythm. And I think one of the big things that would help is establishing the running game a little bit more. If you go back and you look at some of Etienne's games that he was really good, the team did really good. And so that's what you want to get back and get kind of rolling for this football team, take the pressure off your offensive line a little bit and pass pro. And the Tennessee Titans right now are still trying to find their way. So the one thing you've got to do is you've got to do a better job at protecting the football because in my mind, the Tennessee Titans talent level is not great, and I think the only way that they can win in this ball game is that if you turn the ball over like you did against the 49ers. If you do that, then you're going to have a hard time winning any game, even against a team like the Tennessee Titans, and obviously you got a hard lesson against the 49ers. When you turn the ball over 4 times against them, you've got no chance.
All right, Logs, hang in there for a second, and we'll get a few final thoughts from you as we wrap up a Check the Tape Tuesday. But before we do, let's touch base with XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet, keeping 1010XL on track with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
All right, Matt Hayes is here. Hello, Matt.
Morning, fellas.
Have you put the debacle out of your mind from the Jags' perspective, or what? What still lingers for you coming out of that game?
You scored 3 points at home. That's what really lingers more than anything. The turnovers, and you got to score more than 3 points a game at home.
I get that the Niners were not full strength the last 3 weeks when they were scoring 17, but P.J. Walker put up 19 on them. I mean, P.J. freaking Walker put up 19. Josh Dobbs put up well over 3. And Josh Dobbs having a good year, but
not surprising the 49ers offense looked like the 49ers offense. That the Jaguars offense was that pitiful is disappointing.
Definitely disappointing. What do you got coming up today, Matt?
We will talk Jags. We got a lot of college football to get into. We've got our coach, Dave Campo, coming up in hour number 3, too.
Breaking it down.
Don't miss it.
All right, we will not. Matt, thank you. Have a good show.
All right, guys.
Appreciate it. All right, Logs, what final thought would you like to leave Jaguar fans with after your evaluation of the tape? For some, the sky's falling. For others, they're saying, hey, it's only one game. Doesn't matter what the score is because it only counts 1 in the loss column. Kind of what's your overview as we head into Week 11?
And
at about say it all right there. So
it's kind of how it's going.
I got you.
All right.
Here, can you hear me?
We hear you now.
All right. No, I'm just saying. I think that when you have a game like that as a player, it stinks. And you go back to work and all of that stuff. But, the reality is that going back to work at this time of year with some of the rules that you have, you just need to dial in from a mental aspect. The physical part is very limited as what you can do, as far as getting ready for a team. You do what you do to get your body ready to play the next game. It's not like you're busting your hump and cracking heads during the week to get ready for the next football game. So you just got to have really a mental sharpness and an approach to this game, and you just can't wait to play because you just want to remove that stink, that filthy taste that you have in your mouth from the last time that you suited up. And I think this football team's got a lot of pride, and I know that they've talked about it at length, all of them. Every time that the microphone's been put in front of their face or somebody that's got a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, that they keep talking about how to win at home. And I think this team is going to play well this week against the Tennessee Titans and get rid of that bad taste in their mouth.
Let's hope so. Needed desperately. All right, Logs, where will folks catch you leading up into game day?
Well, on Thursday, we got Happy Hour and the Coach's Show with Doug Peterson and me and J.P. Shadrick. And then Jaguars All Access on Thursday night, outdoor show on Saturday, and then game day on Sunday. Programming starts at 10 o'clock, so looking forward to that.
You got it, buddy. We'll talk to you then, Logs. Thank you.
Thank you, boys.
All right, there you go. Check the Tape Tuesday coming to a conclusion. Thanks to Jimmy Smith for joining us in studio today, courtesy of our friend Tom McManus, who was hosting him for his podcast. So check out Tommy Mac's pod, which I'm sure most Jaguar fans do on a regular basis regardless, but the raw, says Jimmy, is how they were breaking it down. But appreciate him lending his perspective. And, bottom lined it with Trevor Lawrence, eyes get big. The idea of being in his prime and being able to play with Trevor, would absolutely love it. For those of you who, question whether Trevor's got the goods, the greatest receiver in Jaguars history certainly thinks
he does.
So, take that for what you think it's worth. Thanks to Jeff Loggeman and all of you out there for listening and participating on a Check the Tape Tuesday. For Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Back at it again tomorrow. John Ogier will join us in studio, and we'll try to move past Jags and 49ers and get ready for the Tennessee Titans coming into town. XL Primetime is next on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.